Today, we talk accelerators. Now, of course, the Smith Manoeuvre's plain Jane strategy is an excellent place to start, but adding some of the accelerators is where compound growth does what it does best. Now, before we start, I want to remind you, I'm not coming to you as a financial planner, and I am not giving advice on how to invest your money. As a Smith Manoeuvre certified professional and a mortgage agent, I'm sharing how I structure mortgages for maximum results and leave the investing to the pros. Now, let me walk you through a situation that I see all of the time. And I mean, this is one of the most common profiles that come across my desk as a mortgage agent. You've got a home worth maybe $900,000 and your mortgage is sitting around $500,000. You're earning a good income. You're paying your bills. There's a bit of consumer debt, maybe a credit card and a car payment in the background, nothing too much. You have some savings, maybe even a few investments, but nothing that really feels like it's building towards something meaningful just yet. And that feeling is usually the same. I'm doing everything right. So why does it feel like I'm not actually getting ahead? Now, if that's you, I want you to hear this clearly. This is normal. This is what happens when you follow the path that most people were taught, but no one ever shows you how to connect your mortgage to a bigger financial plan. So if I had your mortgage and I was sitting in that exact same situation, the very first thing I would look at is not the interest rate. It's the structure. Because right now you're most likely in what's called a traditional mortgage. You make your mortgage payment where a portion of it goes to interest and a portion goes to principal. And over time you build equity. And of course that works, but it's pretty passive. That equity is just sitting there. It's not really doing anything for you outside of your home. So the first shift I would make is moving your mortgage into a readvanceable mortgage. This keeps your mortgage in place, but now you have a line of credit that grows every single time you pay down your principal balance. So instead of your equity being locked away, it actually becomes accessible and usable. That's the foundation. Without that, none of the strategy actually works. And from there, we're going to look at your debt. Because in this type of scenario, there's usually a mix: car loans, line of credit, maybe some credit cards. Not high balances, but just enough that you're putting money in different places. And it's all sitting at higher interest rates, which actually works against you. So let's clean that one up. Now, here's where it makes sense. We bring that debt into the mortgage structure because the lower the interest, simplify the payments, and improve your overall cash flow. Now everything is working together instead of pulling in different directions. And then we start putting the strategy to work. So at the most basic level, the Smith Manoeuvre works like this. Every time you make a mortgage payment, a portion goes towards the principal balance. Now, let's say that amount is around $800 and change every single month. With the right structure, that $800 becomes available to you again through a line of credit. And instead of leaving it there, we reborrow it and invest it. That is the plain Jane strategy. You're not adding any new money. You're not changing your lifestyle. You're just making your existing dollars do more. But in this situation, I might actually dig a little bit deeper. In this scenario, an accelerator called Prime the Pump could make a huge impact. And here's how it works. When you set up a readvanceable mortgage, you often already have access to some of the equity that's available. Now, instead of waiting months or even years to build momentum, we can take a portion of that equity and invest it up front. That gets the strategy moving right away. Your money is in the market sooner, compounding earlier, and you're creating tax deductions right from day one. It's something that you want to be thoughtful about because it is new borrowing, but when it's structured properly, it can make meaningful difference over time. So we have a client that already has the plain Jane set up, but what they want to do is fast track some of the acceleration. So what we're going to do is drop this down to Prime the Pump. Now, these clients already have a really good setup already in place, but what they want to do is they want to be able to use some of this $85,000 that they have available right off the hop. So if we were to start taking some of these funds, you can see how their net worth improvement over the same amount of time can drastically increase. Now, I'm never suggesting someone take all of the $85,000, but what if they were to invest 50 right off the bat, and that would increase their overall obligation to about $214 a month, which can be serviced using the line of credit. So it's not a matter of maxing out all of the funds. It's a matter of seeing what's the amount that makes the most sense and using that to fast track your wealth. The next thing I would look at is if there's any existing investments. In this scenario, I often see people with some money tucked away, maybe in a non-registered investment. Now, it has to be a non-registered investment for this to actually work. And this is where a lot of people are surprised. If you have money sitting in a non-registered investment account, even if it's as little as $25,000, we can restructure that. This is what we call the debt swap. So instead of adding new money, you use those already invested to pay down your mortgage and then re-borrow that same amount to reinvest. So you still have your investments, but now that debt is tax deductible. And that accelerates the strategy without requiring you to contribute any new funds. By adding the debt swap accelerator, you fast track your tax savings and improve your overall net worth. As you can see, if you redirect the $25,000 in from a non-registered investment, apply it to your mortgage, and then reinvest it, it can actually help you grow. Now, being mindful that this money was already invested, so it's not actually improving your overall net worth, but it does allow you to convert your mortgage to a tax-deductible loan faster. What we're really doing is we're simply reorganizing what you already have in a more efficient way. Now, when you bring all of this together, the structure, the debt cleanup, the monthly conversion, and those initial accelerators, this is where things really start to shift. Because instead of spending the next 25 or 30 years paying down your mortgage, you're building an investment portfolio at the same time. You're creating tax efficiencies, and you're turning your mortgage into something that actually supports your long-term goals. And of course, the most important part of all of this, we never relied on more income. We didn't rely on perfect timing. We just used what was already there. What I wouldn't focus on here is trying to chase the lower rate or trying to time the market perfectly, because those things feel productive, but they don't actually move the needle long term. What matters is getting the structure right, having a clear path, and letting the plan build over time. So if you've been listening to this and thinking, wow, that sounds a lot like me, that's exactly why I wanted to walk you through it this way. Because this isn't a niche example for some wealthy investor. This is a common reality for everyday homeowners just like you. And if you want to see what this would actually look like with your numbers, your mortgage, and your goals, that's exactly what I'm here for. Book a call and we'll walk through it together. Mortgage free with Erica Z.